What's going on, 80K Sports Performance families? Ryan here with this week's Coach's Corner. And this week I wanted to talk about the importance of our athletes eating breakfast. And the reason for that is, as we've, with our summer sessions, had a lot more morning sessions with our athletes, we noticed a trend that is unfortunate, that we have a lot of athletes that are eating nothing for breakfast or very poor breakfast. And while something is going to be better than nothing, if we really want to maximize our training, we really need to make sure that we're fueling properly for that. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We sometimes have athletes that, now that we're into pre-seasons for some sports with captain's practices and things like that, they might have an early mornings captain's practice, then they're coming in and training with us, and then they might have an activity or work later on in the day. And we'll have athletes that at their 10 a.m. training session have eaten very little to nothing coming off of that captain's practice and now going into a workout. And that's really not ideal for training, because the analogy I always like to give our athletes is like trying to drive a car without any gasoline. You're not going to get very far. So making sure that we have something is always going to be better than nothing, but making sure that we're getting good quality carbohydrates in, some protein, and some hydration are going to be really important in terms of maximizing your training. Because especially with our morning training sessions, usually you've been sleeping for hopefully 8 hours, so you haven't put anything into your body for 8 hours. So it's really important to get a good quick meal in. And again, for some of our athletes, that 10 a.m. might be a little early for them. They're waking up at 9:30, but making sure that you get some sort of carbohydrate like an apple, a banana, an orange, some oatmeal, even some cereal is going to be really beneficial in terms of getting those carbohydrates in, so you have some energy. But obviously a more optimal breakfast, we're going to be looking at some good source of protein, whether that be coming from eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, something like that, paired with our good carbohydrates, our oatmeal, our toast, our bagel, things like that is really going to be optimal. And also trying to avoid some of those greasy foods. It's really easy to go and get a bacon, egg, and cheese from Dunkin' Donuts or Elizabeth's Bagels. However, those probably aren't going to sit great when it comes time to do any sort of conditioning or high intensity exercise, and we don't want to see that breakfast again. So if you're an athlete, you're training in the morning, or just an athlete in general, make sure that you are nailing your breakfast. If you have questions about it, feel free to reach out and download our free guide on the Athlete's Guide to Breakfast.